You're watching KAKE Land. This is KAKE News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today.
Coming up in the next half hour, 5 people shot early this morning, including 2 young girls. Police say a broken relationship is to blame. We'll have the latest on the investigation.
Plus, Hurricane Irene's final destination still unknown, but residents along the East Coast are keeping a close eye on the storm.
But we begin with breaking news. A huge fire with smoke that can be seen for miles forces evacuations at a southeast Wichita apartment complex.
Firefighters now forced to battle the blaze from the outside. A 3-alarm fire. It broke out at the High Point East apartment complex in the 9400 block of East Lincoln around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Crews arrived to find heavy smoke and flames in the attic of one of the units. KAKE News does have a crew at the scene. We will have a live update coming up. This is smoke from the scene. We are told you can see the smoke for miles. We also know the Red Cross has been called in to help at least 20 displaced families due to this large apartment fire at Lincoln and Webb Road.
And we continue to follow a developing story. 5 people shot, 3 fighting for their lives today after a deadly attack in a southwest Wichita home.
And police say the shooting a result of a breakup. KAKE's Jared Sorello is live in southwest Wichita with the latest. Jared.
Just about 30 minutes ago, police officers cleared the scene where you see that red car and the white SUV-type vehicle in the driveway. All day today, that yard and even the street has been blocked off with yellow crime scene tape, and we're told last night, the night before this chaos ensued in this West Wichita neighborhood, police say the gunman called the family and threatened to kill them.
There is indication that he called and threatened to come over to kill them prior to his arrival.
And it appears the man did exactly that. Once he kicked in the door, police say he systematically went room to room, gunning down all but one person inside the house. The mother, the 30-year-old, was only shot once at this point in time.
The others were all shot multiple times.
The woman's 2 children, both shot as they lay sleeping in their beds. A 6-year-old daughter dead at the scene. Her 9-year-old sister in critical condition as we speak. The children's grandmother also was shot multiple times.
He had been associated with her for approximately 2 months to a month and a half. They had recently taken a trip to California, 36-year-old, the 30-year-old, and the 2 children, to Disneyland. But since then, they have broken up.
Now, we do not know the identity of the gunman, but police say he has only been in Wichita for the last couple of months, about as long as he had been in a relationship with the woman who lived in that house back there. But he is from Mexico, according to police, and had no valid or any sort of formal ID from the United States on his person. We'll have much more on this story coming up on KAKE News at 5 and 6. We're live in southwest Wichita. Jared Sorello, KAKE News.
As you can imagine, neighbors who watched the little girls play in the yard and ride their bikes are angry and in disbelief this afternoon. Gail Kirby lives right next door. She and other neighbors woke to police officers lining their street and the sound of sirens. Kirby says the 30-year-old single mom lived here with her 2 little girls. Neighbors say those girls were kind and outgoing.
We saw the kids quite a little bit in the street riding their bikes. Looked like they were having fun, and it's just a sad situation that occurred.
Just can't fathom that something like this could happen, especially with children.
Neighbors say the family was very friendly, always waving and saying hello. They never noticed any problems there. One neighbor said she just saw the mother yesterday morning. Wichita Schools crisis management team on hand at Kensler Elementary School, where the 2 girls attended. The team has been briefing students about the incident all day. They plan to send a letter to parents this evening. Their advice: comfort your kids by letting them do something they enjoy this evening, and go ahead and talk about it if it is age appropriate.
Well, this isn't the first tragedy for this family. 6 years ago, a train accident killed the woman's husband, the little girl's father. 34-year-old man was behind the wheel in the South Wichita accident in September of 2005. Authorities say he drove a semi in front of a train on K-15 and 31st Street South. He later died from his injuries. Police say he was related to the shooting victims.
And keep it on KAKE for continuing coverage of the murder-suicide. We will have more reaction from the school district on later KAKE Newscast. And you can find up-to-the-minute information on our web channel, KAKE.com.
Jury deliberations underway in the trial of a Hutchinson mom accused of killing her baby with a hairdryer. Bridget Hippen is charged with second-degree murder in the death of her 3-month-old daughter. The defendant took the stand today, testifying she used the hairdryer to help warm up her child. The defense says the death was an accident. The prosecution says Hippen acted recklessly. Hippen could face 9 years in prison if convicted. A former city councilman convicted of child sex crimes will spend the rest of his life behind bars. A Reno County judge sentenced Shane Zink to life in prison this morning. He pleaded guilty earlier this year to 14 counts of child sex crimes involving a 7-year-old girl. He will be eligible for parole in 25 years. He served on the Arlington City Council before his arrest.
A fire causes more than $300,000 in damage to a South Wichita tire business. It's an update to a breaking news story we first brought to you last night on KAKE News at 10. The fire broke out in the 3000 block of South Broadway around 8 o'clock last night. Crews arrived to find heavy smoke and flames showing from the warehouse. A second alarm was called in to help battle the blaze. No one was hurt. The case remains under investigation.
And the revolution continues in Libya, where rebels continue to hunt for Muammar Gaddafi. The Libyan leader pleading with loyal forces to march into Tripoli and fight against the rebels. John Hendren has the latest.
If Muammar Gaddafi escaped his compound, he almost certainly left through here. A labyrinth of underground tunnels linking debris-filled rooms, communication centers, and the outside world.
It's for Muammar house, you know that. Nobody can come in here. But now we are free, we can do everything.
Reuters reports intense battles continue between about 1,000 rebels surrounding 10 buildings filled with Gaddafi loyalists, possibly even Gaddafi himself. Libyans ransacking the leader's compound made a surprising discovery in one of the buildings, a photo album revealing an apparent obsession with former U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice.
It doesn't surprise me. It's deeply bizarre and deeply creepy.
Perhaps Gaddafi did escape. Here he is in his latest television appearance saying Libya is yours, calling the rebels foreigners and traitors. At the Rixos Hotel, 35 journalists and others enjoyed newfound freedom after being held against their will by Gaddafi loyalists. Their captors had no idea Gaddafi had been toppled.
They believed they were protecting us from the rebels. They said if we go outside the hotel, the rebels are going to kill us. They're going to rape the women. And that's what they thought they were doing. They were going to let us out when Tripoli was back in the hands of Colonel Gaddafi.
It now appears that day will never come. The State Department believes Gaddafi's nuclear and chemical materials are secure. The biggest threat, officials say, are portable anti-aircraft weapons. They could end up on the black market. John Hendren, ABC News, Washington.
A clothing company's grammar gets sent to the back of the class. How the mistake cost thousands of dollars coming up.
And later, potential jurors receive orders before a trial begins in connection to the King of Pop's death. The later just ahead in the Buzz.
We got up to 107 degrees yesterday. That was day 46. That tied 1980 for a total number of 100 degree, equal to or higher days in a year. What a nice break today. Go outside, lots of sunshine, but not nearly as hot. It's 94. The winds are out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Satellite picture, just a whole bunch of sunshine, just a few wisps of cloud across parts of western Kansas. We're done with the thunderstorm chances today. 80s and 90s, a big break from the triple digits. And look how much drier the air is. Heat index, yeah, the only triple-digit heat index number is liberal, right at 100 degrees. The winds are out of the northeast. They turn more out of the south across western Kansas, gusting to 24 miles per hour in Goodland. For Wichita, clear, 89 at 7, 77 at 10, starting the day at 66 degrees, 8 o'clock tomorrow.
On air, online, on your mobile, on Facebook, on Twitter. KAKEland.
And back to that breaking news we told you about at the top of the hour. Smoke can be seen for miles in southeast Wichita as an apartment complex is on fire.
Again, firefighters forced to battle that blaze from the outside. It's a 3-alarm fire. Let's go to KAKE's Lily Wu. She's live on the scene with the very latest. Lily?
That's right. We're at the scene of this apartment fire that started shortly after 3 o'clock. As you can see, there's tons of emergency crews and fire trucks out here trying to battle this apartment fire. Fire crews told us that this When fire crews arrived, they saw heavy fire and smoke, which you can still see at this very moment. They're trying to battle this as the second alarm continues. They said that this fire started nearby one of the balconies at the apartment and then reached all the way to the attic and then onto the roof. If you can see, the roof of one of these apartment complexes is completely caved in. They tell us that 20 families have been displaced at this moment and 2 people were evaluated by EMS. Right now we don't have any word as to how the fire started. Fire crews just continue battling the flames and heavy smoke. We will have more on this developing story as we get more information from fire crews. Right now we're in East Wichita. Lily Wu, KAKE News.
Clothing company may be having punctual problems.
Yeah, Old Navy is throwing away thousands of college t-shirts because it left the apostrophe out of "Let's Go." The company is reprinting all of the shirts with proper punctuation. Obviously, Old Navy felt the first batch wasn't college material. All right, after tearing through the Bahamas, what could be the strongest East Coast hurricane in 20 years is setting its sights on the U.S.
The only question tonight is where and when Hurricane Irene hits. We've got the latest coming up.
We'll actually share with you some of the latest data on Irene coming up after the break. Wichita, plenty of sunshine, but a break from the intense heat. 107 yesterday, highs in the 90s. Today will be close to 100 tomorrow, hopefully just shy of that. Forecast coming up. All right, well, the latest information on Category 3 storm Irene is as follows. It continues to bear down towards the east coast. Maximum sustained winds 115 miles per hour. It's moving to the north-northwest at 12 miles per hour. Currently about 575 miles south of Cape Hatteras. Here's a look at it over the past 12 hours as it churns through the Bahamas. Again, going through another eye wall replacement here as it starts to wrap up. Now, this is really only going to brush Florida. Some squalls, some onshore winds, and heavy surf, and maybe an occasional squall line that may produce an isolated tornado. But Florida's going to be really spared the brunt of this. Here's the spaghetti model plot. Remember, each of the lines represents the center track of a different computer model. Notice how they're still all clustering around. It's going to miss Florida, but sweep the Carolina coast. A hurricane warning has just been issued for coastal North Carolina, and again, Saturday will be the day. And then it continues on along the east coast, and even New York City potentially could see the impact, but by then it should be weakened. Now, it's still very strong Category 3, and the current official track still kind of has it rolling north as a Category 3 storm. I still think it could intensify to Category 4 potentially before it makes the impact along the coastal Carolinas. Again, the area of red is the cone of uncertainty. This is the official Hurricane Center track. And then as far as the east coast and New York City, if it stays interacting with the land, it'll impact it during the day on Sunday as a minimal Cat 1 hurricane. But if it gets offshore more, it could still be a little stronger. But still, this is going to have a major impact. Had a lot of coastal buildup. Haven't seen a hurricane this strong along the east coast in decades. Wichita getting a break from the heat. A lot of sunshine outside. Hardly a cloud in the sky, but also much cooler. 94 degrees. It was 107 yesterday. And even drier. The dew point 42 degrees. It just feels better outside. Look at this wall-to-wall sunshine. We'll go back 7 o'clock this morning. Sun comes up. Notice a few little wisps of cloud around. We're looking at a clear night tonight. Even more sunshine tomorrow. 80s and 90s across KAKE land. Delightful. Instead of all those triple digits. And notice how dew point 60s, 50s, you get into the 40s. Kind of reverse. Normally the air is drier across western Kansas, but the winds generally out of the northeast, pushing in that cooler air. 89 the heat index in Hutch and Wichita. Okay, it still feels like 100 in Liberal because of that slightly more humid air. Notice how the winds are out of the northeast, turning more out of the south as you work your way off to the west, gusting to 24 miles per hour. Good look. This turning to the south will continue overnight tonight, and that's where we're going to start to see more moisture return and also hotter temperatures tomorrow. Remember, yesterday was day 46. It tied 1980 in terms of 100 degrees or hotter days all time for Wichita in second place. Well, tomorrow we're going to get close. I think just shy, but we're going to get pretty close. Notice the showers and thunderstorms off to our southwest and to the west. As the high breaks off, the warmer air returns. We'll put in a small chance of a thunderstorm for parts of western Kansas and north central Kansas tomorrow. KAKE model tonight, again, it's going to become mostly clear, way overdone with the cloud cover. And then tomorrow afternoon, I don't think in the morning we'll see these thunderstorms, but in the afternoon, just a few thunderstorms starting to develop, primarily western Kansas and north central. I know it's trying to put a shower to Wichita, but don't buy that. Clear, 89 at 7, 77 at 10, and then tomorrow it's going to be a hotter day, 66 at 8 o'clock. I think by noon we'll warm up to about 89, 96 by 3, and I think the high 98 back down to 97 again. If we get to 100, wouldn't be completely shocked, but I'm not counting on it. So south central Kansas tonight, clear with lows in the 60s. I haven't said that in a while either. And then tomorrow, highs in the 90s, and yes, there will be a couple of triple digits. Across north central Kansas tonight, clear nights, lows will be in the 60s, and then tomorrow I'll put in a very small chance of an afternoon thunderstorm, basically Salina and Abilene. Out in western Kansas tonight, enjoy the clear night. Temperatures in the 60s, and then tomorrow, very small chances in the afternoon. Basically go Colby, Scott City, Liberal west of there, but thunderstorm highs getting back to the triple digits. Let's check the planner. For south central Kansas, including Metro Wichita, close to 100 next few days. Small chance of a thunderstorm Sunday into Monday, and behind that, a little bit of a cool down, upper 80s and close to 90 degrees. And it may rebound a little bit towards the end of next week. We'll see.
Looks good.
Looks
Thanks,
decent.
Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, Jay talked about Hurricane Irene. It's strengthening this afternoon as it leaves the Bahamas.
On track to become a Category 4 storm today. Irene left extensive damage in the Bahamas, headed to the east coast of the U.S. More than 65 million people live in Irene's projected path. Remember, cone of uncertainty. Federal government urging residents to get ready now. If it makes landfall in the northeast, it could be the biggest storm since Bob came ashore in New England 20 years ago. We'll be right back.
In the buzz, a Los Angeles judge says he won't sequester jurors in the trial of Michael Jackson's former doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Conrad Murray will stand trial next month for involuntary manslaughter in the pop star's death. The judge says he will not force jurors to remain under around-the-clock court watch, despite the defense's arguments that sequestering jurors is the only way to ensure a fair trial. The judge says he trusts jurors will follow his instructions to avoid exposure to media coverage. Jury selection expected to begin September 8th, rather.
This is a cool story. The home that took that elderly man up in the air has landed in a Utah neighborhood.
A real estate looking up in Salt Lake City. Designer gives life to the Disney animated film. Three brothers built an exact replica of the home from the animated movie Up. Adam, Jordan, and Blair Bangarter say they got permission from Disney and Pixar to build the home, then spent hours studying the animated home. They didn't miss a detail. Even the inside looks just like the movie.
Watched the movie over and over. My brother Blair drew and designed the home. Wallpaper to the wood trim, the fireplace, the mantle, the handrail, and the newel post. All of the details that you see in the movie we're actually replicating, custom making in real life.
Wow, a lot of extra time on their hands. And they are planning to attach balloons to the chimney. Hopefully the home won't sail away. I bet it doesn't.
I bet it doesn't either. All right, he's famous for being frosty on his reality TV shows, so it's no surprise Simon Cowell wants to be frozen after he dies. Cowell calls it an insurance policy. The idea being that years later they'll have the technology to bring him back so he can get back to work. What was that movie?
What movie?
Where he's frozen.
Forever Young. Forever Young, I
I'm
think.
thinking of that other one.
We'll be right back.